Ladies and gentlemen, your favorite white colonizer coming to you live from the United States of America. I am Tall, the Traveling Clad. Get your white colonizer merch right now on thetravelingclad.com. Let's jump right into this reaction.
This war is just chapter one of what is going to be a very long struggle. I compared it to 56, not to 48. In 1956, the Suez War came in the aftermath of what was known as the Czech arms deal, in which Egypt acquired Soviet equipment that completely changed the balance of power here. And Israel initiated a war along with Britain and France in order to weaken the Egyptian army. And ever since, the struggle has been over a noose that Egypt was trying to tie around us. And there were three more wars: the war of 1967, the war of attrition between 67 and 1970, and the Yom Kippur War, all of which were different acts in the same drama of Yom Kippur was 1973, and then these were all chapters in a drama of Israel fighting against the noose that radical Egypt was trying to tie around our neck, and that struggle ended only with a peace accord in 79. So it took 25 years. Now Iran is tying a noose around us, and this is just the prologue. This is the first act in what is going to be a series of war. The next one clearly is going to be with Hezbollah in Lebanon. Now the American administration is trying to isolate this war as part of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. But this is the first Iranian-Israeli war. This is what it is. So this is the prologue to a long struggle, and it's our weakest enemy. People who are now supporting ceasefire are basically trying to maneuver Israel are basically pushing Israel into a situation, even if they don't intend it, in which our blood will be left in the water. A tiny terror organization, the smallest of our enemies, is going to get away with a massacre in Israel and retain power in the Gaza Strip. That's what a ceasefire means. It means defeat for Israel.
Beautifully said.
If that happens,
Beautifully said.
Not only will our enemies smell blood in the water, and they are much stronger enemies, our friends or our half-friends will also smell that blood and will start maneuvering away from us. Nobody wants to be the ally of a victim in the Middle East, and you can already hear grumbling noises from some of our erstwhile partners in peace. I wouldn't say allies is not a good description of these peace accords. So this is existential danger. If Israel does not defeat Hamas clearly, and it should be clear to Hamas, and it should be clear to the Arab world, not just to Israelis. If it doesn't, so it's not enough to somehow engineer a picture of victory.
Correct.
We don't need a picture of victory. We need a victory that would be clear to everyone as such, or else our blood is in the water, and the state of Israel is in mortal danger. Make no mistake.
People forget how important that point is. People don't understand. To make the Arab world or an Arab nation, Arab people submit to you that they've lost is the most important thing, debatably, in this entire conflict. Why? Not because we have to have a machismo ego of we won the war. Fuck that shit. Nobody loses and nobody wins in war. Everybody's a loser. But Arabs don't lose at war. They always win no matter what. It's always a win for them. So you have to give such a blow, such a defeat, such a terrible defeat that there is no question about who you are, a winner or a loser. You are a loser. You had to raise the white flag. I feel like we've gotten close to that point, but not close enough. And you know what? Don't trust me, because I'm just a stupid brown Jew. Listen to Arab voices. Listen to the pro-Israel Arab voices. They will corroborate the same message to you. They won't tell you, hey, you need to cut it off right now and make peace with it. No. They'll tell you, go until you can't go any further. Because until you hit that point of no return, they will never, ever accept defeat. And if they walk away with a victory, okay, a moral victory, for them, it just emboldens them to keep trying this again. So he's absolutely correct on this point.
This is a struggle for survival. And now we are stuck in a situation where the soldiers clearly understand this, and the leadership of the army much less so, and the media, which is all influenced by America and is all infused with this progressive spirit, is not getting it at all. Israelis also don't understand the American policy in the Middle East, which is the appeasement of Iran. They buy the rhetoric instead of looking at what the administration actually does. But I don't think that our elites, some of which have bought into the construction the Americans are trying to create, in which this war will somehow end in the two-state solution, people who are buying into it are just living in la la land. They don't understand. And the media amplifies the wrong thing. So if you're sitting in America, you see, oh, the families of the hostages are demanding a deal that will end the war and will return our hostages. These are political manipulators who are cynically using the pain of the families, and I have nothing to say against people who are willing to do anything to return their loved ones from the torture of Hamas atrocities. But these cynics are using that in order to promote a ceasefire. And I'll connect this to what I started saying before, is that crowd has been dreaming of bringing external pressure on Israel in order to force it to do what it doesn't understand it must, in their view, the two-state solution, partition. It has been dreaming of that ever since the right took power. It briefly had a different spell with the Rabin administration that brought the Oslo Accords that were supposed to be the prelude to partition. But certainly after the right took power back again, they have been placing their hopes on American pressure. So now look at how they think the stars have aligned. So the split between Hamas and Gaza will be over, and because Hamas has been weakened, and we will be able to do what the Americans want and impose the Palestinian Authority on Gaza. Now you have a single partner controlling all the Palestinians, and you can strike a deal with them for a two-state solution, to which they've never agreed, by the way. But it looks good. And now Israel would be chastened, and it would be malleable, and America would then be able to force it to do what these people think we must and don't understand. So to go back to Amos Oz's metaphor, the surgeon will be the Biden administration. Now we've laid Israel prostrate on what I mistakenly call the slab, but it's the operation table, but the difference is rapidly closing, and the Americans will perform the cut because we have been chastened by losing this war. This is a complete misunderstanding of what is going on here, and the fact that these elites are promoting this and that they're using the hostages for it is what everybody hears outside, but they don't see the real grassroots that's not pumped up by the press. And these are some of the families of the hostages are blocking the aid convoys to Gaza and are clashing with the police over that. The reservists have started a movement saying, we're not taking off our uniforms until we win this war. You're not bringing us back. And they've already been chastised or reprimanded by IDF PR, who, by the way, did mind refuse nix when these fought against the reform back in. When they were fighting the right, it was fine. But when they're promoting the hawkish position, suddenly they get reprimanded. And there was a letter just now published in the press. I quoted from it for Peace and Tablet, of mothers of IDF soldiers to President Biden, saying Israel has to win this war. A ceasefire is out of the question. And so the majority of Israelis get this, but our progressive elites are still so enamored and so blinded by their trust in the United States that they don't see the trap laying ahead for us. And the Biden administration, which is in complete dark when it comes to the Middle East, is actually very savvy about manipulating Jews and Israel. They know how to say all the things we want to hear. So Joe Biden comes here quoting from the Bible and all this, we got your back, and how we love Israel and all the rest of it, while what his visit actually did is forbid us to preempt Hezbollah. This is what he was here for. Because if this war spreads and people realize that this is not a small conflict between Israel and the Palestinians, the minute it spreads, it will be clear that the Democratic administration's Middle East policy called regional integration, appeasement of Iran in plain talk, is a complete failure. It has set the region on fire. And by the way, this war is a direct result of the appeasement policy of the Democratic administration. The fact that they have opened the door for Iran financially by loosening the sanctions and diplomatically to infiltrate with their proxies deeper and deeper into other states in the region, the fact that they are not deterring Iran has emboldened all our enemies and Hezbollah and Hamas among them.
This is a very interesting take, and I appreciate his sentiment. I will say that now that Trump is actually in power, I believe this was probably filmed a little bit before Trump won the election, things are different. And I will say that his manifestations, they can manifest. The thing that he's sort of calling out will happen. They can happen. But it's now up to us on this timeline to make a difference, to make sure that these things don't happen. What does that mean, and how can we be practical about it? American Jews, like myself, I'm American Israeli, and also American Christians are supporters of Israel from America. We have to fight to release Israel from the clutches of the United States of America, at least America's imperialism. Everybody can call it that America has a certain element of imperialism. As a proud American, I can say that America does do things that are sometimes questionable in other parts of the world. And I will say the grip, or the tightening of the grip onto Israel year after year, is probably an unhealthy place to be for both of us. We don't need that. You can see that there's been a reaction in a negative way from American citizens since the war has begun. And also from Israel, we haven't been able to do everything we wanted to do because we were pigeonholed during the Biden administration. He's also absolutely correct that under the right pretext, the Donald Trump administration can also screw us over. I don't think that that's what's happening right now. I think that right now, you can actually see Trump kind of doing the opposite of that. He's really working hard to make sure that Israel feels safe and that Israelis feel safe. I really do think that Trump has done the time. He's really taken the time to understand what we've been through on October 7th, thoroughly, unlike anybody else has, at least not from the U.S. administration. And he's really putting his money where his mouth is. The rhetoric is correct. The sentiments are correct. And I have to say that, I feel an immense level of pride, and it gets me very emotional to see how much this U.S. president is willing to stand up for us. Does it mean that situation, that relationship can't flip? It definitely can flip. It can change. He's a human being. He's also an older human being. He's an elderly man who has a certain vision around the world, and he wants things to go a certain way. He has a temperament. We all know this. Things can change. The guy has a temperament like a Moroccan Jewish mom. The guy can slap you with a malawach in the face in 3 seconds. He can flip on you. So we have to be weary of the fact that can change. But at the moment, what I'm seeing with Iran and the sentiment of actually attacking Iran in conjunction with Israel, it seems like the man actually wants to do something to make a change for once, to go away from the JCPOA, from the nuclear enrichment program that Joe Biden willy-nilly signed off for the last 4 years, financed Iran, and emboldened them to continue developing nuclear weapons. I mean, it looks like we're heading in the right direction. Now the difference is, will Trump see it through? Or will Iran cave, or the IRGC of Iran cave, and then we'll fall back into a trap where there's appeasement talks, and then we're back to square one again because the next administration, if it's somehow Democrat, they sign a deal with them, and then we're back to threats and back to proxy wars. It's to be seen. We can only hope that Donald Trump does the right choices and that we lead us into a future. But the man's predictions here are not off. I don't want to go ahead and demonize the U.S. administration or America, because I have a lot of appreciation, especially for this administration. A lot of appreciation for them. But let's see what happens. I'll see you guys in the next one. Please buy your White Colonizer merch right now in the description, thetravelingcloud.com. Get some, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you a long time. Goodbye, Cloud. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat, or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.